Okay, we need to talk about Titanfall 3 because there are some rumors going around. And if this is really happening, because, this isn't the first time rumors go around, it's not the first time that the Titanfall community is kind of teased with the potential Titanfall 3 happening. But if it really is being made and it's really happening, the hype is massive, and this is insane. Now, this all started because some very reputable Apex Legends leakers kind of just got this rumor going around, and they just essentially leaked that apparently Titanfall 3 will be teased at the Game Awards show later this year in 2025. I think the show happens in December, and the rumor is that next year in 2026, Titanfall 3 will actually come out. Now, just so you know, I don't really consider myself part of the Apex community. I don't play the game. I tried it when it first came out, never got into it, and I've just always thought that Titanfall 2 is just way better, so I just keep playing that. So I don't know who the leakers are. Again, I'm not really part of the community, so I can't really go into how reputable or how trustworthy they are. And that's really the thing, is like, as of right now, as of me recording this, it's still kind of just hearsay. Obviously, Respawn hasn't said anything. It's still a rumor that's going around. But the reason why I'm making the video and the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because it does seem like a lot of people are really buying into it and going with it. And that's what makes me think that maybe there's a very small chance that this is actually real, or that, it's actually going to happen. And if that is the case, dude, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to go insane, because I've been wanting Titanfall 2 since 2016, or Titanfall 3, I should say, since 2016 when Titanfall 2 came out. I love Titanfall 2. Now, the original Titanfall, I didn't play that when it first dropped. I really started with the second game. But since I played the second game when it came out, I have gone back and, I have since played the first game. And I do think even, to this day, it still holds up. It does feel a little dated, but it still feels great. Titanfall 2, I feel like that game to this day is still criminally underrated. And it's still better, in my opinion, than Call of Duty. It feels better than that. It plays better than that. It's more fun. It's better than modern shooters that are out right now. And my point is that since Titanfall 2 holds up so well, in my opinion, to this day, I'm really hoping that Titanfall 3 can just bring some of that. Because I've seen so many people online, as soon as these rumors started going around, again, because so many people are kind of going with it, it does seem like a lot of fans are also kind of believing it, even though I feel like a lot of us don't want to, because again, it's happened before. It's not the first time that the Titanfall community or the fans have been teased with a potential third game. And I think because of that, a lot of people are just simply not buying into it and, just choosing to ignore it. And that's very valid. I definitely understand where they're coming from. But I've also seen a lot of people saying that because Respawn isn't the same Respawn anymore that made Titanfall or made Titanfall 2, and they've really handled Apex in a really negative way for a lot of people, because of that, a lot of people just don't want Titanfall 3 to be made at all. And I also understand where they're coming from, because I've seen that discourse happen for the last couple of years, where I see people say, if Titanfall 3 ever happens, I don't want the current Respawn team to make it for X and X reason, whatever they might, whatever those reasons might be. Again, I don't play Apex Legends, so I can't tell you, how they've disappointed that community and how they've disappointed those fans. But I'm always seeing it on Twitter. I feel like I'm always seeing Apex fans complain about the live service, or complain about microtransactions, or just things that are broken, just lack of really, care and maintenance for their game from Respawn. And, if that's still the case, and if Titanfall 3 does actually get made, obviously I wouldn't want to see that. I would want to see Titanfall 3, have updates and be maintenance and actually be maintained in an efficient way that actually helps the life cycle of the game and helps the game's longevity, because I feel like that was the biggest fumble from, I don't want to say Respawn, it was mostly EA in my opinion, from Titanfall 2 back in 2016, because for those of you who don't remember, or if you don't know, Titanfall 2 came out in 2016, right in the middle of Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which in that year, Call of Duty and Activision, they had remastered COD 4 as well, the original Modern Warfare, and that didn't help Titanfall 2's chances of succeeding and being a huge success at all, because that game was literally sandwiched in between two of arguably the biggest first-person shooter games ever being released that year. And Call of Duty and Battlefield both, saw huge successes in 2016. So Titanfall 2 kind of just went under the radar for countless people. And it's because of that that, myself and so many people just feel like Titanfall 2 simply never got the chance that it deserved to really get that spotlight, or even have a spotlight on it. But I've also seen a lot of people raising the question, is Titanfall 3 just, if it is really happening, is it just going to look like Apex Legends? Because we all know that Apex has a very distinct art style, and of course, It's the same people that are making it, if it really is happening, the same people that made Apex are, making Titanfall 3. So if this game is coming out, is it just going to look exactly like Apex? Personally, I don't want it to. If you asked me, in my perfect world, Titanfall 3 would look like the perfect blend of Titanfall 1 and Titanfall 2's art styles. I have always admired Apex's art style. I think it's a really good looking game, even though I don't play it much or really at all. I've always liked the way it looks, but that's precisely why I feel like it should keep that look, and Apex should look like Apex, and Titanfall 3 should look like Titanfall 3, whatever that's going to be. And obviously, as of right now, it's still all rumors, and nothing's been actually confirmed. But again, if this really is happening, so many people are going to be insanely hyped, and it's going to be definitely an event, to actually see this game finally be made, if it really is being made. And of course, it goes without saying, I'm insanely hyped for it if it's real. I'm still on the fence of it, right now, being true or not. I don't know if I should let myself be totally excited, but I'm making this video, so obviously it shows you that I am, at the very least interested in it, and I will be there. If this actually is happening, of course, I'll be pre-ordering, I'll be there and everything. But I definitely understand people's concern, with Respawn not being the same team anymore, and maybe Titanfall 3, what if it just becomes like an Apex Legends launcher, similar to how Call of Duty now is just kind of like a Warzone launcher for a lot of people. I get it. People are worried that Respawn isn't going to give the the TLC, the maintenance and the attention that Titanfall 3 would deserve and would need to actually have a successful life cycle, and I get that. I definitely understand those concerns. Obviously, if Titanfall 3 does release, I'd want it to be, prioritized. I'd want it to be focused on. And that's another thing, though, that has to be, brought up. And I feel like it's definitely worth mentioning, because if the game does come out, if it really is real, how is Respawn going to balance that workload? How are they going to manage, keeping Apex Legends alive and well? Because that game's not really going anywhere. I mean, say what you will about its quality, say what you will about the state of Apex or whatever. The game is not dead by any stretch of the imagination. I don't see it going anywhere really anytime soon. So if Titanfall 3 really does come out next year, or eventually, whatever, how are they going to balance that? How are they going to keep Apex Legends thriving, with updates and alive and well or whatever? And thriving is a stretch, because a lot of people would probably tell you that it hasn't been thriving for a few years. But whatever, how are they going to keep both of them, successful? That's definitely something that's worth questioning and worth bringing up, because that is one concern I will say that I have. If the game does come out and if it is made, how are they going to balance that? Because I would hate to see the Titanfall 2 situation happen all over again, but in a different way, where, God forbid Titanfall 3 does come out and it fails because it just wasn't maintenance and it just wasn't given the attention it deserves, but maybe it had a really good launch date. Like if Titanfall 3 released like in March or like in the beginning of summer, you don't have Call of Duty and Battlefield releasing at that point in the year. That type of launch date could be huge for Titanfall 3. But if it's just not given the attention and the updates and the support that it's needed to really be successful in the long run by Respawn, then yeah, it could definitely just die that way. And of course, nobody would want that to happen either. So all in all, it's an exciting time if you're a Titanfall fan, even if you're an Apex fan, I feel, because that's another thing. Keep in mind, if Titanfall 3 is happening, if it does come out, there's going to be so many, just a huge influx of players day one that just come from Apex compared to Titanfall 2 day one. Because remember, when Titanfall 2 came out in 2016, nobody knew what Apex was. I mean, Fortnite wasn't even out yet. Warzone wasn't even out yet. That's how long ago we're talking. And when that game first dropped, the player base was decent. It was good, but, it wasn't like a 100,000, 200,000 or more, on launch day. It wasn't like that. But with Titanfall 3 now, because of the, many years of just Apex's huge popularity and success, Titanfall 3 on day one, if it does come out, could have maybe like 500,000 or more day one playing it. That would be absolutely insane. The hype behind Titanfall 3 and just, just thinking right now, sitting here thinking about the potential hype train leading up to that release, it could be insane, man. Like the advertising, the marketing, the trailers, I could go on for hours about how much this has me excited if it really does happen, but that's the huge asterisk here. That's the huge elephant in the room, is that it's still just a rumor and it's still just going around as a leak, a potential leak. Obviously, if it does happen, if it's real, I'm going to be over the moon. I'm going to be insanely hyped. I'm going to be there. I'm going to pre-order, man. Say what you will about it. I know people are always saying don't pre-order games, but I've been waiting for Titanfall 3 for so long. This has been like a dream game essentially for me now for so many years. So again, I just want it to be real. I can't reiterate how badly I want this to be real and how badly I want it to be true. But at the same time, there is some things to be concerned about. But I will say that, you know, it's definitely an interesting time and a very exciting time to be a Titanfall fan right now, and even an Apex Legends fan. But with all that being said, you know, let me know what you think about this entire situation. If you're a Titanfall fan, if you're an Apex fan, if you've never played either of them, or if you haven't played any of the three, Titanfall, Titanfall 2, Apex, let me know. Just let me know if you're excited for this and if you're going to be playing Titanfall 3. And if you even believe the rumors, or if you're just kind of dismissing it, writing them off like I've seen so many people do, that's also valid. I definitely get it, not letting yourself get excited, but I'm just curious to hear what everybody has to say. My name's Nico. Thank you so much to all of you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, turn on post notifications, and I'll see all of you in the next one.